Welcome to the latest in Zelda music and fan theories. You're listening to Hyrule Academy, live on Radio Hyrule.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hyrule Academy. It's a wonderful show we do here every week on Radio Hyrule, where we talk all about Zelda lore and fan theories. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys, and I'm excited to be bringing you a wonderful topic this evening. We're going to be talking about the mystical land of Labrynna from Oracle of Ages. Now, before we get on to that, you want to know what song you were listening to right before the show started. And that was a cover of the song Sad from Robert Thorstad. So Robert Thorstad played that over on YouTube. I wanted something to kind of bring us into the world of Labrynna, and I was going to hope for something a little bit more upbeat, but the song Sad is a little sad, but it's very nice. It's a very nice song. It definitely brings you back to Oracle of Ages nearly instantly. The first time you hear those notes, it's very awesome. So the chat's very excited for tonight's show, and I'm very excited to be with you as well. We're going to be having a wonderful time listening to some wonderful music and discussing a wonderful piece of Zelda lore. And that, of course, is Labrynna, like I already said. So Labrynna, if you don't know anything about Oracle of Ages, I'll try to fill you in the best I can here to get us started. It's a world that we play in the game Oracle of Ages. And within there are humans, Zoras, Gorons, as well as the Tokay people. Tokay, they're kind of like dinosaurs to lizards. It's hard to describe really what they are, but they're kind of their own species. They're the Tokay people. And they all live in this wonderful land of Labrynna. And this land, in the olden times, was ruled by a royal family under the Queen Ambi. And she was a very giving queen. She was very nice. She was known for being very, very giving and kind. You know, she was a good queen. But over time, we find out that it was instead starts to be run by a mayor. The city mayor, Lynna City, what was previously Lynna Village becomes Lynna City, and it's ruled by Mayor Plen. So there's definitely a shift in government structure there. And Link travels to the land by the guidance of the Triforce to rescue the Oracle of Ages Nehru from the evil Varin, who has used Queen Ambi in the past to build a black tower to make people feel very tired and depressed and sad in hopes of lighting the flame of sorrow. And that is a huge part, or is it the flame of despair? Oh God, did I do something wrong? Hey, Professor's gonna quickly. Flame of despair. Da 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 da. That's not the flame of despair. Ha ha. Here's me doing a nice. Was I right? I was right. Flame of sorrow. Okay, I'm right. I had to do some fact checking. Your professor may have just stumbled into the classroom a little tired today. It's been a long night. I was up all night reading about Zelda Wii U's delay into definitely 2016. And it's an unfortunate thing for us Zelda fans, but we know as we grow older, you know, as a kid, you were like, dang it, we've lost the game and we're upset at Nintendo. But as you grow older, you start to quickly realize it's gonna make a better game in the end. Let's just be patient and we'll get more lore out of the game. More time, more lore. That's my theory on it. Anyways, about Labrynna. A couple of questions for you this evening. Feel free to expand, make your own fan theories, expand in the world of fan fiction if necessary, but it's okay. We like to have fun with this. 1. How long has Labrynna existed? And where did it come from? Next, what happened to the leadership in Labrynna? Why is the queen gone? Why do we have a mayor now? And finally, what is the importance of the Black Tower in the future of Labrynna following the defeat of Varin? Discuss these questions or ask your own to me over at radiohyrule.com/chatroom, and I will be featuring your messages later on inside tonight's show. But for right now, I got an excellent set of music. A lot of it is new music added to Radio Hyrule today, so I'm sure you guys are really going to enjoy that. So let's get it going. I believe we got some jazzy music to start us off. How about that? Thank you all for tuning in to Hyrule Academy right here on Radio Hyrule. Welcome back to more Hyrule Academy, everybody. I hope you all have been having fun listening to some excellent music. First up, before we just came back, we listened to Time of the Falling Rain from the 1-Ups. Many shout-outs got to that band. I've actually not really heard much of their material, so a nice cover. Time of the Falling Rain from A Link to the Past. I really enjoyed it. I do love me some video game jazz, so that was right up my alley. Afterwards, we heard Midna from Field of Reeds. Field of Reeds brought us this, and I had not heard this song either before today. So thanks to Eric for actually giving it to me, because I was like, all right, got some new music here to play, and I played it, and it was good in my ears. It was very nice. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much to Field of Reeds and the 1-Ups for those two songs. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit of a strange subject, and I was talking about this before. I actually made this theory up yesterday before the announcement about Zelda Wii U, but it's about revisiting the world of Labrynna, and something that I think would be really cool for a future Zelda title. And it's not just specifically revisiting the world of Labrynna. It's about the idea that this Zelda Wii U map that we see very, very briefly inside the one preview footage from the Game Awards it's very expansive. It's a huge world. And I think it'd be really interesting if this Zelda game was the one to tie together the entire Zelda universe in the way that you can go to Labrynna and Holodrum and to Termina and all these places. But you must be saying, MC, how will they do that without confusing players? And the idea was to kind of be clever about it. And instead of calling the land Labrynna that you go to, just call it like the Lina region or something, and like just have subtle things that make you think, wait a minute, is this really the Labrynna of the I know from Oracle of Ages? And maybe the game never says it outright, but you find clues, like maybe there's a character named Ambi in the area, just stuff like that. I think by the use of Easter eggs and clever planning, they could really bring back not only Labrynna, but the entire Zelda universe in this game, because they have so much space to work with. They have to be filling it up with lore, and that's why I'm really excited about Zelda Wii U. It's a game that we don't know anything about, except that it has a huge world, and when there's a huge world, there's usually a lot of lore that comes with it. Specifically, you can think of Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and how much content and different lore and different pieces you were able to pick up, from the Gerudo dragonflies being found inside the Lanayru Desert, all the way in Twilight Princess, when you're able to find characters whose names, like Fado, remind you and call back to the games like Ocarina of Time, and characters like the Hero Spirit that make you think, wait a minute, could this be Link from Ocarina of Time? Yes, it is. And I think that's one thing I'm looking forward to with Zelda Wii U. Can we maybe bring back places like Labrynna in clever ways? So that was just a thing I thought about. Not really much of a theory, but just a brief little idea I had, thinking about the Legend of Zelda series overall and where we're headed in the future. We're going to get back to the music now and continue on with our theorizing, and I'll be back in just a few to talk about some of your theories. So let's get into the music. Thank you all for tuning in to Hyrule Academy. Welcome on back, everybody, to more Hyrule Academy right here on Radio Hyrule. We've been having a great time listening to two excellent songs from two excellent artists. Actually, three artists, if we want to be technical. First up was Termina's Demise from Rosin. Rosin is excellent at Majora's Mask music. I know the chat, they were talking all about, they're like, is Theophany better? I forget the name. It's like Batrio from Skyward Sword. But Blue Toe? I'm horrible. The Majora's Mask opera guy. You guys know who I'm talking about. And who's the best Majora's Mask music artist? And I don't care who's better. I just enjoy it, man. And plus, we all know the answer is Chad Cider. Anyways, let's move on to the next song, which was Jazz Undead from Hylian Lemon and Crow. Of course, that's from the Essence of Lime album over on OC Remix. And it is awesome. It is awesome. I was like, this. I knew instantly when I picked Labrynna as a topic, I'm like, this one needs to come in here. This needs to come in here. We need to have it. We need to have it. And so you had it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Anyways, let's move on into some of the things you guys have been talking about inside the chat while we were listening to the music. First off, we discussed what happened to the royalty inside Labrynna. We know there was a queen. Now there's a mayor 400 years in the future. What happened to them? Well, the musical gamer has a simple answer. Labrynna Revolution! And Slowpoke did say as well, government changes tend to be somewhat violent. So Slowpoke and Musical Gamer were on the same idea there, same wavelength. They were saying this is a place of battle. There was a battle or some sort of war that ensued that caused this to happen, a government overthrow. And it's a good theory, and it's a very simple one, so thank you for that. Inja said the royalty could have just relocated. Who says that we don't have a queen still? Maybe they just moved to a different place inside Labrynna. It was pointed out to me inside the chat a few times, I believe by Captain Trina, that why would the queen live in a village? You know? Why not somewhere more grandeur? You know, why inside this little dinky little Lina village? My answer was that's the only place there is. That's like one of the only like really developed towns inside all of Labrynna, but either way, I think it was a good point. So maybe the royalty just relocated. Now, Abra says, something interesting to think of is how old Labrynna is, and maybe it's around the end of the Sealing War in the defeated timeline. Maybe they saw the trouble a monarchy caused in Hyrule and switched to elected rule. So maybe they were like, alright, hold on, over in Hyrule, these people are having a hard time making decisions. This Ganon guy is getting free. Maybe we shouldn't let some king or some princess be leading the land. Maybe we should be electing somebody, like the mayor, Mr. Plen. You seem like a pretty cool guy. Do you want to do it? And maybe he just said yes. That's a definite possibility. After that, we had something from the Zelda noob who says, I think the power shifted from the queen to the mayor because Varen had guided her to build the Black Tower, and they didn't feel like she would be safe, so they needed somebody new. And they picked whoever would be best and the safest ruler for Labrynna, and that was the mayor. So, the only problem with Zelda Noob, your theory, and it's a sound theory, like, okay, Queen builds an evil tower, luckily the hero saves the day, but we should probably still get rid of the queen. That's a very sound theory, makes a lot of sense. The only issue is, don't we technically make it so that doesn't happen in ways? Like, there was still a mayor when we first arrived in Labrynna, right? You know, right before Varen did anything evil. So wait a minute, huh? How would they know that she's gonna turn evil? It's very timey-wimey, and we can't give good answers. But Zelda Noob is on something with that. After that, we want to talk about the history of Labrynna a little bit. And Stefan says it would have Labrynna would have had to exist for at least 300 years because that's how far you travel. And we find out later, not 300 years, we travel back at least 400 years. And of course, there has to be a time before that, obviously, to establish some sort of royalty. Now, Bub WV has a theory about what Labrynna is, and that it's the Downfall Timeline's version of Termina. Why? Because it's the only place we see Tingle and the Hand in the Toilet in the same game. Now, I think this is a stretch for a theory, but I wanted to kind of like, I never really noticed that this is the only game where we see Tingle and the Hand in the Toilet inside the same game. It's a very big stretch. It's a very big one, I'll admit, but I wanted to mention it, so interesting theory nonetheless. But Abra's going to expand on it a little bit. He says, you know, I think I could compare the layout of Labrynna to Termina, as both share many column elements. They have a large central tower, local Gorons, a large seaside, a Lost Woods area. And the Zelda Kid 101 says, I think the magical Triforce portal thing is a dimension switcher. Labrynna and Holodrum are like Hyrule of different dimensions. So maybe, just maybe, it's another alternate dimension type deal. And it has something to do with Termina. Could it be? That's for you to decide. I'm not buying into the theory. But hey, if you like it, Run with it, my friends. Now, we need to find out, is it a real place in Hyrule? And Luke the Spoo kind of asks that. He says, well, obviously Link can sail back to Hyrule because he did that after going from Labrynna to Kohlehint to Hyrule. And now you're assuming something, Luke the Spoo. We never know what happens to Link follow the adventures of Link's awakening. After his ship breaks apart and he wakes up in the ocean having thought of a grandeur adventure on Kohlehint Island, we don't know if he ever gets back to Hyrule. That Link's story has never once been fully told. We don't know what happens to the hero of Hyrule, and it's sad because that's my favorite personal Link, because he's gone on so many adventures. So, moving on from that, we're going to talk about the Black Tower and what happened to it in the future. Yasitaru says, for the purpose of the Black Tower after the events of ages, it was probably repurposed into some sort of legacy for Queen Ambi. Maybe even to honor those who died into building it, since Farron wasn't so caring about its construction, just it being done. So, maybe they turned the Black Tower into some sort of memorial, maybe some sort of legacy for Queen Ambi. They say, you know, we understand you did the best you can, and or you are our queen, this is your monument. Or maybe like, hey, people died, so we're going to use this as a monument to them. But Captain Trina kind of goes the opposite way and says, the tower might have been viewed as a symbol of corruption, leading the power of Labrynna to dismantle it. So maybe after we leave Labrynna, they tear down that tower. That's what they probably did. I mean, that seems like if you had something that was causing eternal sorrow in your land, I'd want to get rid of it. But who knows? Maybe they just turned it into a Walmart. The Musical Gamer says maybe the Black Tower is similar to the Tower of Spirits from Spirit Tracks. Maybe they took advantage of this giant tower and used it to seal some evil away. You never know where you might find some evil, and it's good to stuff it in a tower, get some train tracks laid down, and there you go, set to go. So, an interesting theory nonetheless from Musical Gamer. Now, we had 2 questions in for me this evening. The first one was from 207 the Zone Stage, who says, in the linked games, some of the characters say that they're from the other world. How did they get from Labrynna to Holodrum and Holodrum to Labrynna? Now, we've actually discussed this briefly inside our geography, or not our geography episode, but inside our Holodrum episode of the show. And the big thing we thought of is boats. There does seem to be a common seaside, or maybe it's one continent or something of the sort. Go listen to the Holodrum episode for more details. But the most likely answer is they took a boat. Or maybe they just hoofed it. Maybe this, Oregon trailed it on over. Maybe Pippin died due to dysentery. We won't know. He didn't die. He's alive and well with your young child Link, Names him after you. Anyways, why is it that the 8 essences of time are in Labrynna, Yasitaru asks? Why is it in Nehru who has the Harp of Ages? All of our past theorizing has placed the aspects of time on Hylia and the Master Sword, and you're very correct. This is the only real big moment inside Zelda history where we see time not associated with Hylia or the Master Sword. And it's like, Well, I can't give an answer on this one, Yasitaru. I don't have a strong theory for this. I'd say, honestly, and I hate being this guy because I always try to discourage this, it's like, it's a game? Because we see elements of time in other places, like inside Majora's Mask. In fact, that's the game that most revolves around it. We see stuff like the Song of Passing inside the Wind Waker. And I don't think it's specifically tied into any one trope of the Legend of Zelda series. And I think that trying to say this is weird is a bit of a stretch. Time has always been a huge factor in the Legend of Zelda. Even all the way back to Legend of Zelda 1, when you got a stopwatch to freeze time and enemies. It's something that's kind of hard. It's a little bit of a stretch. The Chire Chat is talking about Tower Mart now, so I think we've been successful in our theorizing for this evening. So we're going to get on to some more music, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with our wrap-up for this evening. Thank you again for tuning on into Hyrule Academy. Welcome back, everybody, to Hyrule Academy. It's been a wonderful evening talking to you all about Labrynna. To finish up tonight's songs, we listened to Linking the Legends from Sock Puppet. That's also from the Essence of Lime album, and I highly recommend it to everybody. It's a wonderful OC remix album of all of Oracle of Ages remix. There's also Lime of the Seasons, which is, of course, a Oracle of Seasons remix album from the same crew. Anyways, to kind of summarize what we talked about this evening. Well, we know that Labrynna was founded at least over 400 years ago after Link arrives at it, because we go back in time, so we know it's at least 400 years. There's theories that it might be related to Termina in some manner, but we do know that you can sail to it, at least from Holodrum. Now, you can also sail away from it. We do know that. We know that you can sail away from it. Anyways, royalty. The royalty is gone after 400 years. Is it because of war? Did they relocate? Was it Hyrule's influence? Their example was not leading for them. They decided that they didn't want what happened to Hyrule, and maybe they just did some impeachment. Maybe it was just all about getting rid of this for whatever reason. The people chose to overthrow them through war or peaceful impeachment. So that's the question of that. Now, the Black Tower, however, after Link leaves, does it stay and serve as a monument? Or is it destroyed? Is it destroyed for being not something to remember? Is it destroyed because they hated what it represented? Or maybe they just turned it into an evil sealer, an evil jar, if you will. Maybe they just kept it around in case they needed to trap a Malladus, because I hear those are about anymore, all the time, everywhere. Anyways, I would like to remind you all to tune in next week, Friday at 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, for our next topic, which is the one and only Groose. That's right, we're going to have an entire episode dedicated to Groose and the wonderful character that he is, how he evolves over time, and what his purpose is inside the grand scheme of Zelda lore. So, see you all next week for that. But first, a reminder to donate to Radio Hyrule at radiohyrule.com/donate. Throw a few rupees on into the big wallet, and it'll help us fund a lot of really cool projects we have coming on. So make sure to do that. Thank you all for your inputs and your fun discussions. I had a great time with you as always. And to finish off tonight's show, it's Bossa de Link from the One-Ups, who we heard earlier. Thank you once more for listening to Hyrule Academy right here on Radio Hyrule. Radio Hyrule. Radio Hyrule.